and white, every color flows. Lights, lights, black and white, every color flows. Lights, lights, black and white.
Tickets on sale now. Call 855-71-COSMOS or visit nycosmos.com.
There's a passion for sports like never before. A hunger for world-class competition from around the globe. Welcome to One World Sports, a new sports channel spanning 5 continents with exclusive premier matchups, events and leagues you won't see anywhere else. Like baseball, we've got every home game of Japan's most celebrated team, the Yomiuri Giants. And if you follow the beautiful game, One World Sports has some of the best soccer you'll find anywhere, with top clubs from the English Premier League, Arsenal, Chelsea, and UEFA Champions League holders Bayern Munich, plus exclusive action from Asia and the Pacific Rim. One World Sports. The journey begins now with the reboot of the legendary New York Cosmos.
Some of the brightest stars in the soccer universe have worn the Cosmos jersey. Men who would be recognized at every corner of the globe made spreading the gospel of the beautiful game in the United States their mission. Pelé, Franz Beckenbauer, Carlos Alberto, Giorgio Chinaglia. 40 years ago, these icons of the sport were embraced and cherished in New York for their success on the field and made the Cosmos name famous throughout the world. Now, nearly 3 decades after the magical journey ended, the New York Cosmos are back with a new cast. Ayoze, Hunter Freeman, Marco Senna. The players may have changed, but the goals remain the same. The next chapter of the Cosmos' remarkable story will be written tonight. It promises to be a busy and eventful night here at Stewart Stadium as the Cosmos are finally back. A huge turnout is expected to welcome the Cosmos back to the field they played on in the early 70s. Tonight, they will take on the Fort Lauderdale Strikers. Welcome, everyone, to our coverage tonight. We're pleased to be starting the new network, One World Sports, this evening, and also involved in the reboot of the Cosmos alongside former U.S. international Janusz Michalek. I'm J.P. Dellacamera. Good to finally be able to say, Janusz, that the Cosmos are back.
Yes, super excited. Really, I mean, the team has been dormant for 30 years, but the iconic name has survived the test of time. That's important. I mean, arguably the best American soccer team in history, really, when you think about it, and that is without a kick in the ball. But this is what it's all about. Let's see what the players can do once they step on the pitch.
Speaking of the players, for the Cosmos, it's a mix of youth and experience. We'll talk about the most experienced player on their side. That's midfielder Marcos Senna.
Yeah, composure, leadership, that's important. For me, when you look at Marcos Senna, he is the new Pelé of this new Cosmos, really. And that is regardless if he likes that or not.
Senna will be in tonight's starting lineup for the Cosmos. As for the opposition tonight, the Fort Lauderdale Strikers, they finished in last place in the spring season. They gave up a ton of goals, the most in the league. They hope that young Richard Sanchez is the answer in goal.
Yes, I don't think he's going to be overwhelmed. I mean, walk in the park to some degree. He has won the Youth World Cup, of course, in Azteca Stadium in front of 100,000 people. So this is going to be a picnic. But seriously, of course, they're going to need him, and they're going to need him to be strong in goal.
We're all excited about this one. It's the home opener for the New York Cosmos. They will kick off a new fall season tonight. here at home against the Fort Lauderdale Strikers. The past and the future come together tonight here on One World Sports. After nearly 30 years removed from league play, the New York Cosmos are back. It's the much anticipated home opener versus Fort Lauderdale, and it's coming up next. After almost 30 years, back in the field where the Cosmos once played on in the early 70s. The New York Cosmos, the new edition, the reboot version, are on the field getting ready to take on the Fort Lauderdale Strikers. Terrific night tonight. We welcome you to Cosmos Soccer, and time to turn things over to our MC this evening, the very popular New York sports television personality, Bruce Beck.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's meet the starting lineup for the Fort Lauderdale Strikers. And we begin with number 8, the captain, midfielder, Pekka. In goal, number 30, Richard Sanchez. Number 5, defender, Tony Stahl. Number 10, forward, Walter Restrepo. Number 12, defender, Ivan Guerrero. Number 14, midfielder, Carlos Salazar. Number 15, defender, Scott Gordon. Number 18, defender, Stefan Guillaume. Number 20, midfielder, Mark Anderson. Number 21, midfielder, Darnell King. Number 33, defender, Rafael Alves. The head coach for Fort Lauderdale is Gunther Krunsteiner. Fans, the Cosmos family welcomes you and asks that you participate in the soccer tradition during the player introductions. I'll announce the player's first name, then please join me in announcing the player's last name. And now let's meet the starting lineup for our Cosmos. The captain is number 4, defender, Carlos Mendez. In goal, number 24, Kyle Reynish. Number 2, defender, Hunter Freeman. Number 3, defender, Hunter Gorski. Number 5, midfielder, Joseph Nane. Number 7, midfielder, Ayose. Number 8, midfielder, Diomar Diaz. Number 11, midfielder, Harry Marosevic. Number 15, defender, Corey Veeder. Number 17, forward, Stefan Dimitrov. And number 19, midfielder, Marcos Senna. The head coach for the Cosmos is Giovanni Savarese. Now it's time for the VIP handshake as our legends and dignitaries greet our two teams. Joining Pelé and Carlos Alberto.
Opening night, Giannis, you've been there many times with different uniforms. What's it like for a player at home?
Yes, I just think it's a little bit of nervousness, isn't it? I mean, these players want to go and play, and that's the problem right now. And you can see they're trying to stretch right now. They could do without all of that. And you know, once you relax a little bit, you play. And you know, the better teams usually relax very, very early. And we'll see. This is new for both sides. Let's be fair here. I mean, you're looking for Lauderdale with the new manager as well. He doesn't know much about his players. He's going to find out a lot today. And Gio Savarese, of course, is going to do the same. So this is going to be interesting. I think there's going to be a lot of freedom, maybe some rhythm and excitement.
But isn't that new as well? You're shaking hands with Carlos Alberto, Pele, Nene Cubillas. I mean, that doesn't happen at very many professional games.
No, it does not. And I think this is great again. We've said it, you know, Alfred Shep Messing said it the best. Honor it, recognize it, and then move on. And really, I mean, I'm glad he said that.
And he's out there too.
Yeah. There he is, of course. I'm just keeping the seat warm for him. If he decides to come back here, of course, what a legend and what a good friend. So great to see him out there. And I'm sure he's very, very happy, you know, that his team is back.
You mentioned the Fort Lauderdale coach, Günter Kronsteiner. He told us today he's only had a couple of weeks with the team. They won't play the formation that he likes, which is the 4-3-3, probably more of a 4-4-2 tonight, and he's looking to install some discipline first with this team.
Yes, as we always say, formation is only as good as the players you have right now. And first, he doesn't know his players just yet.
True.
But even though he's seen them for 2 weeks, obviously he's made a decision that they're not good enough to play 4-3-3. It's a simple system, but yet this is new. I think you're going to see a lot of players that were left home, of course, on loan. You're going to talk about them, the players from FC Dallas, players from LA Galaxy that are going to come in. They're going to get their chance. But yes, he's going to find out a lot about his players right now. It will be 4-4-2. Let's not forget that right now he's Fort Lauderdale Strikers will play this game without a recognizable striker.
Tough for Fort Lauderdale to scout the Cosmos as well, because the Cosmos really only played 2 meaningful preseason games, and both were over in England.
Yeah, what about scouting? I mean, you know, the excuse from the managers is good, I suppose, is that you worry about yourself and about your team. Set them up the way you think they're going to play. Believe in your players. Believe that you have the system and quality, the talent to win it, and then you don't have to worry about the opposition.
Still going through the handshakes, all the dignitaries going through, including the NASL commissioner as well, Bill Peterson. 8 teams in the NASL fall season. That's one more than they had during the spring, because the Cosmos chose not to be involved in that. That gave them more time to prepare for the fall season. So it's an unbalanced schedule with the 7. Now you have 8, and now we're ready to go and kick things off tonight with the first of 14 games on the second half of the season schedule. Winner of the spring season was Atlanta. They will host the soccer ball on November the 9th.
And remain standing as we honor America. From Broadway to the cabaret, please welcome actress, singer Karen Mason for the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous night o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave
Great atmosphere tonight. New York Cosmos are back after almost 30 years away. They're getting ready to take on the Fort Lauderdale Strikers. They had a great rivalry with that team in the old NASL. This is the new NASL, and they will hope to get things going again against this new-look Strikers team. Finished in last place in the spring season, only won a couple of games, 7th in last place. They gave up the most goals, and they also scored the fewest goals, which is a recipe for disaster. They've made a few changes, and a few of those changes, as Janusz mentioned, not with the team yet. Players on loan from the LA Galaxy and FC Dallas have been in camp, but have not had enough training for them to bump somebody else off of the roster. So picture taking, we'll get the coin toss going, and then we'll finally kick it off.
Yeah, and as you said, I mean, you have two teams right now that they want to get this through. I mean, it's just wonderful here. You look around, you look at the supporters. This is an opportunity, of course, especially for Cosmos to lay a foundation, of course. And first impression, as we all know, is very, very important. But, you know, the style of play, it's not going to be judged just yet. But I think if you're the New York Cosmos, you want to make sure that you make yourself very, very difficult to beat at home. Send that message, not just to the Strikers, but to the rest of the league, that when you come here, we're going to make it difficult for you. And it's not going to be pretty at all times, but we want to get the points here, at the very least, not lose.
Giovanni Savarese was telling us last night he's missing 4 players tonight, including a couple of starters. One in the back, Roversio, out with a visa issue. Sebastian Guanzati, also expected to be a starter, awaiting his international transfer certificate. Jamal Johnson, unfortunately, has an MCL injury, and Satoru Kashiwashi is also injured. Ready for the coin toss. The captain, Carlos Mendez, grew up nearby, minutes away from his high school where he played, Mineola High School. So he's really come back home. He was the first player signed by the New York Cosmos, shaking hands with Pekka, the captain of the Fort Lauderdale Strikers. Chet Messing, Carlos Alberto in to help with the coin toss. Your match referee is going to be the experienced Mark Geiger, who has officiated in Major League Soccer and also in the 2012 Olympics in London. Take a look at the starting lineup. We start with the Fort Lauderdale Strikers with young teenager Sanchez in goal.
Yes, he's going to be important for communication. Obviously, he sees everything in the back. But when I look at this lineup, it's not going to be as much about individuals, but more about the team, as the coach has told us right now. You look at Tony Stoll in the midfield and Pekka. I think they're going to have to deal with that powerful midfield of the Cosmos, and Salazar and Restrepo, as we said, not strikers. They're going to have to establish safe partnership up front.
Take a look at the New York Cosmos lineup. Kyle Renish gets the start in goal.
Yeah, but you look in the midfield, especially in the center of it, and you look at the physical presence of Senna and Nane. They got to make it safe for a player like Ayoze to be able to create. I think they will. Advantage early on, at least on paper. I mean, when you look at the ability of Senna and Nane to cover the ground box to box, it's incredible. So they should be able to dominate the center of the pitch.
And as Renish getting an opportunity to be the #1 man in goal after years as a backup with Real Salt Lake, backing up Nick Raimondo. Set for the kickoff. Cosmos are back. They're in the white with green trim. Fort Lauderdale, yellow, red, and black is their color scheme. As we wait Mark Geiger's whistle. Underway. Reboot time starts now as Nane with the long ball played into the box off the chest. Sanchez will have an easy first touch off of Scott Gordon, his central defender. Sanchez big at 6'3". He's on loan from FC Dallas. Only played for the reserve team there. Out of the back, it's blocked. There are appeals for a handball. It was called. Cosmos will put it back into play. People still filing into the stadium. Traffic jam was expected for tonight. Gorgeous night for soccer. Threat of rain earlier in the day. That seems to have gone by. Gorski to the left, Vider. Hunter Gorski, number 3 in the white of the Cosmos for Nane. And back and forth they go. Nane played last year with Colorado of Major League Soccer. Finds the open man, Marcos Senna. He's expected to see a lot of the ball tonight. Hernandez to Gorski. Long ball from Gorski. He's looking over the top for Diaz. That's cut off and cleared into the seats.
And even though Diaz didn't get to the ball when we spoke with Gio Savaresi, those are the pockets, you know, in the corners that they want a high press right there. He's very big on his team being dynamic, not just with the ball, but when they have a chance to press. Now, if Fort Lauderdale breaks that pressure, of course, you'll see Cosmos dropping off a little bit. But you saw that ball really to no one. But I just saw a good reaction from the team where 3-4 players were going into their area and trying not to allow Fort Lauderdale Strikers to come out of it.
Cosmos throwing for Corey Beater. Unless they called for the foul instead. Was a foul, so it's a free kick. Ayoze. Number 7, after a career in Spain, comes over to play for the Cosmos. A magnificent left foot. You'll see it on display this season, starting tonight. 27-year-old midfielder. Teasing ball in, one header was missed. In the air stall with a clearance for Fort Lauderdale. And then blasted away. Ayoze is always going to be a threat, not just during the run of play, but also on free kick, any dead ball situations for Gio Savaresi's team.
Oh, that last piece, of course, on the set piece. And one thing you don't want your defenders to do is to allow the ball to bounce. That's exactly what happened. It was Hunter Gorski that was a little bit surprised. I'm not sure why, really, because you've got to count on that. So, you know, great delivery. That's 50% of success, of course. And then you got to attack and just put a body on it, or just touch the ball if you can. So it was a good set piece. I'm sure both sets of managers have worked on it.
Senna was involved in a collision upfield with Stahl. It's a free kick. It will go Fort Lauderdale's way. Kept on the ground. That's intercepted. The experienced Senna played forward for Ayoze, who's going to have a lot of freedom in this offensive scheme. Right side. Ball crossed in. It was intended to look like for Diaz, but it never made it across. Dimitrov trying to make that pass. He was on loan with Fort Lauderdale during the spring season.
Yeah, but it all started with Marcus Senna, of course. That anticipation to win that ball deep in his own half right there. Quick release, of course, and you just see it here. There's a little bit of freedom in the wide areas. Cosmos have tried to take advantage of that.
Mirosevic was battling for that ball against Rafael Alves. Goes out. Cosmos throw in far side of the field for Hunter Freeman. 6-year career in Major League Soccer. Used to play with the New York Red Bulls, among other teams. Played it short, got it back from Dimitrov. Freeman on a turn. He's going to get another throw in. Does it quickly, wanted Ayoze, bumped by Stahl. Strikers trying to move it ahead. Picked off, but there was a foul. With the Strikers not playing, Janusz, with a true forward, how are they going to keep possession when they send the ball up top?
Well, arguably, of course, they have, you know, a couple midfielders that can always come deep. They understand the role. I think psychologically that may work to their advantage, of course, if they keep that possession. Because if you look at the Restropo, I mean, he'll be familiar coming deep and asking for the ball. And again, as he goes forward, I think he may have less responsibilities to defend. That's a bit of a problem for them, as we talk with Günther Kronsteiner, of course, because he wants that mentality of, you know, the entire team defending on both sides of the ball. But at least in tonight's match, I think Restropo should embrace that.
The Salazar pass finds his man, Restrepo. Tried to angle it through, was denied. Nane with a block there. And the Cosmos send it over the halfway line. Close to Dimitrov. Alves will let it go out because it belongs to the Strikers. Ivan Guerrero, very experienced player, 3 years with the Chicago Fire, one-time All-Star in MLS and a Honduran international. Long ball into space for King. It bounces there off the turf. Reinisch came out. He's out of goal. Swung at it wildly and then kicked it away. And took himself out of trouble there. Strikers will keep it working. Outside the box. Attempted cross was blocked. Nane being pressed there up high. Got it free. Senna. Great idea to switch it. Diaz, that was a tough ball though for him to bring down. Spinning away from Guillaume. 7th minute scoreless. Cosmos and the Strikers. Stewart Stadium on Long Island. Marco Senna has it blocked out. Senna was a huge acquisition for this team. A lot of people were surprised, Janusz, when he came over to play for the Cosmos.
Yes, I suppose. I mean, you know, there's always that talk about the major, you know, about Major League Soccer and NASL. I think Marco Senna, even though he's up there now in age, I think still a couple of teams would look at him. I mean, you look what he's done is just incredible. Won the European Championships, of course, at Villarreal. You know, part of the Champions League teams as well, and an important one at that. Let's not forget, he was key for Villarreal to get back in the La Liga this past season. So, yes, a little bit of surprise. He's embraced it. I think he's going to be very, very happy with what he sees today. But, you know, he really is going to have to embrace his role here because, you know, I've seen players that come over from Europe that they may treat, you know, sort of this as retirement. I don't think he's one of them, and he's going to have to prove it. So far, so good, because he's made a couple of very important plays already.
Ayoze gets chucked down there. It was Diaz, and now out for a throw-in. Cosmos have it between the benches. Corey Beater. Nane to Beater. Knocked out again. Beater throwing. Wide open was Marco Senna. Head up always. Diagonal ball to the right. Mendez stepping up. Senna. Nice ball up the middle. Was cut off intended for Dimitrov. Cosmos looked to get it there. Ayoze couldn't. Guillaume trying to go forward for Restrepo. The two players holding on to one another. Restrepo's going to get called for holding Gorski.
Yeah, but that's the problem right now for the Strikers, isn't it? And once they win possession, they're looking long, but there's no physical presence, is there? Restrepo is not the sort of player. I think he can hold on to the ball with back to goal, but really there's no help whatsoever. And it's not the sort of play that you count on when you look at Restrepo. So I just wonder if rather than looking long, they want to combine. I think they're the sort of team that like to play the tiki-taka, if you will. At least they did last season.
What do we look for here? Cosmos' first corner.
Well, actually, I think it's always delivery. You want to put a body on it. It's who wants it more, really, defensively or the players that are attacking the ball. So, as we've said, no worries here in terms of delivery. They have 3 or 4 players that are very capable.
Including Hunter Freeman. Ayoze will also take them from the opposite side. Freeman is ready to deliver towards the back post area. And that's over everyone. And it belongs to the Strikers. Joseph Nane was among the bigger bodies contesting for that corner from Freeman. '19-year-old Richard Sanchez, under 20 international for Mexico. Nane tried to win that near against Stahl. Ivan Guerrero, 12, in the yellow, red, and black of the Strikers. Pulling it back. He is the most experienced player on the Striker side. It's an easy play for Renish. Nane. Gorski out of Stanford University for Beater. Gorski will switch to the captain, Mendez. 7 years with the Metro Stars / Red Bulls, 1 year with Columbus. Kept on the ground by Gorski. Ayoze trying to turn, taken away. It's Gordon who made the defensive stop. Now down that right side, King with a pass that's blocked. Nane will get that ball for the Cosmos and plays it back on the right side to Freeman. Got it past Anderson. Ayoze.
this is better for Ayoze, isn't it? I mean, he's not the most physical. We've seen him on the ground a couple of times, but I think he's a creative player. He's a touch player. Now, how do you give that sort of player confidence? You got to give him the ball. I mean, the more touches they take in those situations, I think their confidence grows, especially lefties, for whatever reason that is. And I think for me, in the first few minutes, I think he's been playing a little bit too high. He's got to come deeper. He's got to ask for the ball, and they've got to find him. If you look at Cosmos at the moment, they're looking long for the most part. Nana, every time he gets it, even Marcos Senna for the most part. I just think that almost everything, for me, has to go through Ayoze.
He'll take this free kick. Mark Geiger moves the wall back about another 3.5 to 4 yards. Off the left foot of Ayoze. It lies there in the box now, outside of it. Gorski in, one header. Nane battles, it's loose, and Sanchez is able to recover it. Dimitrov was open, hoping for that ball. Nane had a chance.
Well, for the second time in a row, we've seen it. Delivery. Nobody's attacking the ball. Loose ball just bouncing out there. I think Tony Stoll had the best opportunity when it first came to him to clear that ball. He didn't. So it's all about details, really. And very often they're small details that you pay for sometimes. And Cosmos didn't find a way just yet to do it. But I'd worry about that.
Darnell King trying to slip around Vider. Now Nane comes in, trying to angle him off. King had a couple of goals during the spring season. It's Guillaume sending it across. Restrepo fires it. He had a great chance for Fort Lauderdale, really against the run of play.
Well, here's that delivery, and as I said, Stoll is the first one. Under pressure, of course, but, just standing there. You got to move your feet. You got to come meet the ball, get in front of the player. And here, it's really, 50-50 for anybody. If you have a loose ball like that, good reaction for sure. We talked about the youngster Richard Sanchez, but at the end, he gets it first, going the other way. What an opportunity for Restrepo. Maybe the first time he touches the ball in a meaningful way.
Dimitrov, the Bulgarian, sending it inside the box. That's cleared away. Gordon on the clearance. Nane trying to win it. He battles with Salazar. Cosmos back on it with Senna. Oh, he saw Sanchez off the line. Well, only a veteran would do that. We saw David Beckham do it in MLS a few years ago from farther back than that, but only players of that quality try it from there.
Yes, he's got that freedom. Many younger players wouldn't want to do that because they don't want to make mistakes, and it doesn't look great. But when you're 36, of course, you can. But of course, if you watch Marcos Senna play, you know that on set pieces he's very powerful. It didn't surprise me to see him try that, of course. And I think from now on, Richard Sanchez is going to pay attention to that. I hope he does anyway.
Free kick coming up here for the Strikers. From just over the halfway line. 15th minute. Still scoreless near Cosmos in the Fort Lauderdale Strikers. The reboot of the Cosmos here on Long Island. Guillaume leaves it off. Salazar pushing it back. Scott Gordon has help in the middle. That was Alves. He gave it away to Ayoze. That's blocked. Almost given right back to Diaz. Could have been a costly giveaway for Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, safety first in that situation. We've talked, it's a new partnership at a critical part on the pitch. Of course, the two center backs, and Scott Gordon and Rafael Alves. So a huge mistake, able to recover from it. So he'll take that.
Ayoze just draws another foul. He'll have another free kick opportunity for the Cosmos. Freeman's going to take this free kick. Senna is beside him, at least at the moment. Now Ayoze drops back. 28-year-old Hunter Freeman out of the University of Virginia, sending it into the box. And Stoll, it looks like, got to that. It's a corner kick for the Cosmos. Second one over the last few minutes for New York. Freeman will take it again. He'll drive it to the middle. Powerful header cleared out by Gordon. Played back by Diaz. Under pressure, Ayoze. Smart ball back to Reinisch to keep possession.
Yeah, and Ayoze is starting to drift where he's comfortable. Of course, when he played for Sporting Gijón and in general in La Liga, he's been a left back and left midfielder. And speaking with Gio Savaresi, asking him why he's done that, he says, you know, wear and tear. I think he's created enough. He thinks he can play beneath the forward, of course, and he's just afraid that maybe in this league, if you play him out there and make him run up and down the pitch, you know, maybe not just yet. He wants to get him into the game, into the league a little bit, but old habits die hard as you look at Ayoze here, drifting left.
Drifting wide, yep. Strikers will get the ball back. Intended for Restrepo. Nane swept it away. Carlos Mendez is back on it. Winogorski. Corey Viter. Ball got away. Strikers will have a throw in. Gio Savaresi had a good career as a player, good goal scorer. Now the first coach of the Cosmos in their reboot era. He was an academy director with them and then was named the head coach. Free kick coming up here for the Strikers.
Physical there from Marcos Senna, of course, and we've seen it. He's a holding midfield, not afraid really to do that. Just wonder as we watch this set piece maybe we'll get a chance to talk about the midfield for Cosmos, because I'm starting to worry a little bit about what they're doing. I think maybe they want to reconfigure this, but let's watch this first.
Carlos Salazar. Teasing ball inside for Restrepo. It comes back out, edge of the box, now towards Restrepo. Number 10 for the Strikers, doubled up there. Cut off by Senna. That first pass that he makes, a special one under normal circumstances, gets his team out of trouble. Now, possession lost. Throw in for Anderson. He's going to give it up to Guillaume instead. Guillaume has played internationally for Haiti. Gets that in towards Restrepo. Waiting for the official signal. It's going to be a goal kick for Kyle Reinisch. You want to address that midfield situation?
Yeah, you know, when we spoke to Gio Savaresi, of course, he said he likes the mobility, interchanging in the midfield. And if you look at that, you have Marcos Senna and Nane. Right now, they're playing as two holding midfielders. And, of course, you have Ayoze in front. I didn't see much of the interchanging, but I almost wonder, they've dominated possession for the most part right now. Do you really need two holding midfielders in Senna and Nane? And we've seen Marcos Senna is very capable of going forward, and I think he would embrace that for the most part. So I'd like to see a little bit more of that.
Sent into the box, and Ayoze was there, but Sanchez cuts it off.
Great look from Hunter Freeman, wasn't it? I mean, there, plenty of space, no pressure on the ball whatsoever, and Ayoze is finding these seams right there. He was close enough. I was wondering why he didn't try. Well, I guess in his head he did try, but that was a great opportunity missed.
Guillaume plays it back to Gordon, who had a stint with Chivas USA, sending it all the way across to the left to Guerrero. Rafael Alves, a recent signing. Brazilian will play it up to Anderson. Higher pressure there for the Cosmos. Gordon, Guillaume, the right back, up the field on the right side, now cuts toward the middle, a crowded area. Flex to Senna. Five in the attack in white and green of the Cosmos. Laid off on the right sideline. Mirosevic. He'll earn a corner for New York from the opposite side.
Yeah, just the pace of that attack was missing, wasn't it? I mean, when Senna got the ball, he's got two players around him right there, plenty of space in front of him. You got to exploit that space, really. I'm not sure why that attack didn't develop a little bit quicker.
Corner from Ayoze. And the in-swinger in. That was Gorski who tried to get it. Set him with a blast. And a great save from Sanchez. There's that powerful shot you were talking about.
You look at this, incredible. The technique, just the decision to take that shot. I tell you what, not many players do, because you may be thinking negative, because there's two ways this is going to end up. A great strike like that, by the way, very good save, or this is going over the stadium right now and everybody's looking for the ball. So I'll tell you, I've been in those situations. The first thing is, can I pull this off? And Marcos Senna, of course, he probably doesn't care.
Freeman's corner. toward the middle. A couple players got picked off. And now it's finally cleared by the Strikers. Up for Restrepo. He was by himself. Senna covering a lot of ground. Sends it forward. Mendez still up there for that last corner kick. And now it's Sanchez in goal.
I hate to use the midfield general on Marcos Senna, but I really think that he's got to take responsibility on his shoulders. You almost see him that he's trying to do that from time to time. You see the quality, you see the talent, yet he's somewhat tentative for me. I think if he just kind of looks around a little bit, when he gets the ball, just drives this midfield a little bit, I think he's going to draw 1 or 2 or 3 players towards him. And of course, in the wide areas, maybe you get the opportunity to bring players forward. Having said that, by the way, I think another thing that Cosmos need to address is the fullbacks. I don't think they're getting forward as much as you'd like. We've seen it on the right-hand side a little bit with Freeman, but I haven't seen much, you know, on the other side with Vider.
Vider has it now. Lost out. Throw in for the Cosmos.
Well, you look at this opportunity right there. I mean, this is just wonderful to watch. And I tell you what, technically, so difficult to pull off. You have to wait. You know, timing is always important, but you've got to wait for that ball to come down. And a great strike, maybe towards the end tentative, but wonderful reaction from Sanchez as well.
Yeah, great save from him. Here's Senna with another opportunity. Low shot. Stopped by Sanchez. But Senna's picking it up a bit now. Maybe it was just the early start to the game, getting used to the turf field. You walked the turf field. How was it?
Yeah, and I think, you know, speaking with Gio Savarese, he wishes that maybe they could put some water on it to make it quicker. And you can see it here that, you know, the simple passes, the 5-10-yard passes, you really got to put some pace behind. And that's often the case. But when you talk about turf fields, you usually don't talk about that because it plays fast. That's not necessarily what I'm seeing here, but we'll see as it develops.
Anderson across the way. It's beyond the reach of King. 24th minute, still zeros in the scoreboard. Cosmos and the Strikers. Opening weekend for the North American Soccer League's fall season. 4 games tonight, including this one, so everyone is in action. Nane all the way across to Freeman. The chip in the middle area, but Gordon won that one. Strikers get it, and look, nobody free on that left flank. It's going to go out of play. Plenty of support tonight. Supporters clubs, 3 of them for the Cosmos, the Borough Boys, La Banda del Cosmos, Sagan's Army, and Flight 19 made the trip up from Fort Lauderdale, so we ran into it at the hotel for the visiting teams. Quite a few Strikers supporters.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised, quite frankly, to see them make it all the way here, but they felt it was a historic occasion. They want to be part of it. They want to see the Pelé. They knew it was going to be sold out, and I think, you know, right now they'll be happy. I mean, the result is there. I think, you know, if you Fort Lauderdale Strikers right now, maybe you're not enjoying this game as much, not many chances to speak of, but again, slow steps right now for them, and for as long as they keep it 0-0, I think they'll be relatively happy here.
Cosmos in the white and green, hold it up near the halfway line. It's played up by Gorski, intended for Ayoze. Mirosevic played it to the right. Marcos Senna. Ayoze, that left-footed shot, stopped by Sanchez. He gives no rebound. King will hold it. Dropping it right. Ayoze, tackle away. Oh, it comes free. Salazar leading it for Restrepo. And that's going to be cleared out for a Strikers throw-in.
This is an opportunity to take a breather, though, from Strikers. Nothing really came out of it, but as you see, they're moving the lines right now. They're in the Cosmos half right now, and you want to keep a little bit of a possession there. So it's not what happened on that play. I don't think Restrepo ever was going to catch up with that ball, but it's what you do here. And see, this is way too easy for Strikers to allow Cosmos to come out without any pressure.
Played up to Diaz, intercepted by the Strikers. To counter quickly. Into the middle it comes for Salazar. Throwing 7 different countries, including Iran. He's been all over. Stall for Guillaume. Holding there. Still scoreless, 27th minute. Cosmos and the Strikers. Schuett Stadium in toward the box. Cosmos will get it back with Nane. Looking. Diaz. Back for Nane. The New York Cosmos Training and Development Program is now offering specialized soccer training, select programs, camps, and clinics for youth players of all ages. Call 855-71-COSMOS for more information and to set up a program in your club or community. The Strikers try to play that ball through, shoulder to shoulder. No foul called on either. Senna's pass was blocked out. It belongs to the Cosmos. They're throwing deep in their own territory.
JP, not sure if the Strikers are a little bit more adventurous. They found a little bit of rhythm, and I just wonder, you know, you always want to withstand that first 15-20 minutes, especially when you're the away team. And as we've talked about, you know, all the festivities here. But I've always felt that the Strikers may have an opportunity to surprise Cosmos here because of it. And as you see it here right now, going forward a little bit more with meaningful possession without creating any chances just yet. But this is dangerous for New York Cosmos.
Diaz. They've taken one in the midsection area. Being thrown for the Strikers. They get it in quickly to Salazar. Off his left foot, going into the box. Quick one. Reynish was coming out after it. King was in on it.
Yeah, and you look at this and look at Gorski right here. He loses sight of the ball. That's the biggest mistake, of course, defensively. It's not even ball watching. You think that you may get there. You don't think that ball is going to be played perfectly over the top. And Darnell King, if you remember, caused some problems on the left side. Now he's coming on the right-hand side as well. So loss of concentration for the moment.
Mendez keeping it on the ground. Right side, Freeman. Trying to find Mirosevic, goes out. Throw-in coming up here for the visiting Strikers. They're at home next week, August 10th, home against Minnesota United. Cosmos, this is big for them opening up at home because their next two are on the road before they come back here on the 24th of August. Beater. Nane back to Corey Beater. And played all the way back to Reynish.
Extremely tentative for the New York Cosmos right now. You see it sideways and backwards. And it's not that the options to play forward and penetrate aren't there. I just think the players are not doing it. I look at a player like Stefan Dimitrov right now. He's trying to look for the ball, but the game has bypassed him, hasn't it? And I think he had the same problem when he played for Fort Lauderdale Strikers. The Strikers were very technical, really. They didn't have a lot of wide game, you know, and talking to some of the people there, they were saying, well, there was never service for him. Now, I'm watching him here. He's got to be extremely frustrated. Look at his arm going up, just asking for the ball. He never sees it. In order to find him, you've got to play a little bit quicker. You got to play wider and see if you can find him that way.
We're talking about 17 in white for the New York Cosmos, playing as a lone striker. Now it goes forward to Ayoze, who hits the deck. Mirosevic got it wide. Freeman's way up, holds it, fakes, then try the shot. It's blocked. He'll try again with that pass picked off. Cleared up to Restrepo. And the foul is on Mendez. Now Nani and Restrepo get involved in a shoving match. Mark Geiger's going to bring it back and have a chat with a player or two.
And the last play, we saw Dimitrov. He made a great run. Hunter Freeman didn't even look at him right there. And I think maybe he was capable of playing that early ball, because that's what happens when you make that little diagonal run in a wide situation. You got to get that ball early, or it's gone.
Guillaume. Bending ball in. It's cleared away by Mendez. Towards Nane. Off the left foot. Flag goes up on Dimitrov.
High line from the Strikers. I like the idea, but of course Nane took his time right there. I mean, you can see Dimitrov looking at the line, trying to stay onside. He's got to put it into space, and then it's up to the striker to get on the end of it.
It's going to go all the way back to Reynish. A half hour plus, Janusz, in the books. Your thoughts? Who has an edge here?
Well, it's tentative. I think you've got to get this crowd into the match a little bit, and it doesn't have to be pretty, but I think, you know, I would just... there's got to be a support system right there, and Ayoze, for me, hasn't been there just yet because he's looking for the ball in the wrong spots. I still think he's got to go deeper. You got to get Senna maybe ahead of him for that strength, or even Nane right now, because if you look at that triangle, you know, you can reverse that. I mean, there's no problem for Ayoze to go deeper because he's going to go away from these tough defenders right now, and Senna physically could deal with that, and so is Nane. So when I heard from the manager saying that we're very interchangeable, I don't see it, and it needs to be at this moment.
Ayoze was looking forward at Stahl in the air. Played back by the captain, Pekka. Gordon to Guillaume. Salazar. Back for Guillaume. Higher pressure now from the Cosmos. Scott Gordon waits for some movement upfield. Now will carry it a few more yards upfield before he lays that up towards Anderson. Set it back off the chest. Marco Senna holds. Saw the 2006 World Cup for Spain, Euro 2008. Guillaume leaves it, pushed back by Salazar. Alves, Salazar. Bit of a push there against Pekka. Cosmos get it. Nane has to be quicker than that, and then it's a little bit behind. Gathered in by Marosevic. It's giving Fort Lauderdale a chance to get numbers back defensively.
Absolutely. It's a very, very predictable right now. I think too many touches on the ball for certain players. For most of them, you know, 1-2 touch. And again, when in doubt, put it in a dangerous area.
That's better from Peter, but the shot was blocked. He battles with Stahl. It comes back to Guillaume. Now at the right flank, Salazar. Restrepo. Anderson makes a run towards the left, intended for King. It's behind him. Marco Senna at the halfway line for Ayoze. He has Marosevic with him on the right. He'll drop it back to Hunter Freeman. Nane, the 34th minute. That's blocked right to King. Held up there by Salazar. Strikers play it wide for Guillaume. Give and go. It worked. Guillaume somewhat free. The cross inside. Reynish came out and grabbed it. More difficult play than it might have seemed initially. Cosmos are on the run on the right. It's Hunter Freeman. Again, it's slightly behind. Allows the Strikers to catch up. Ayoze has to play it back to Senna. Freeman. Back in the Cosmos half. Mendez to Gorski. Nane up the middle. Return pass for Joseph Nane. Former high draft choice of Toronto FC. Right sideline. That one's going to get away. It'll be a goal kick for Richard Sanchez of Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, looking for that early ball. Not a bad idea, but of course the end product wasn't there. You can see that early cross could find Stefan Dimitrov. I think he was the target. Diomar Diaz also making a run right now, but again, a little bit of nervousness, JP, and I'm not sure why 35 minutes into the match you would see that. You know, we've talked about tentative, that's easy, but I just think right now a couple of things to address in the wide areas. We haven't seen enough from Diaz, I think, in terms of keeping the width, and same could be said about Peri Marosevic on that right-hand side.
Gorski. Got it forward, that's cut off. Pekka. Guillaume. For Stahl. Senna came in and he fouled, and he's going to get booked. Mark Geiger went quick to the pocket. First yellow card in the reboot area, Marcos Senna.
He's not happy. Thought it was a dive, and if you look at Stahl, tough customer. So I don't expect that from him, but we've talked about the physical aspect of that midfield. We've seen it from Senna, not on the first one. As that ball goes in, you look at touch, I think I have to agree with that, because he gets late. It's not a lot of contact, that's for sure, but it doesn't have to be a lot of contact. The ball has left, nowhere near it for Marco Senna, and as I've said, this wasn't the first time, maybe second or third, so I suppose he's got to take that.
The Salazar pass. Here's Restrepo, step behind the defense, ball in. Oh, Radish with a nice tip save. And the Cosmos come back on it on the right side. Cut back to Marco Senna. Upfield. It's going to be blasted back. We invite you to check out the brand new New York Cosmos online shop at NewYorkCosmosShop.com. Throwback jerseys of Pelé, Beckenbauer, and other Cosmos legends. The new Nike jersey and other Cosmos merchandise is available now. During this late, Pelé's here, Carlos Alberto, Shep Messing, Nene Kubias from the Strikers also here. The past well represented. This one goes out. Throw in for the Cosmos in the 37th minute. It's Vider's throw in. Dimitrov for Vider. Cross from the corner flag, swept away. There's Alves making the stop. Knocked forward, Anderson. Nobody open up top. Angled back nicely by Gorski to Kyle Renish.
Let's see, though, in transition, how dangerous strikers can be, and the adjustment one-on-one isolation. I'm not sure if you like that. Gorski coming over. I think Vider defensively has got to, pay attention a little bit. Head on the swivel, as we often say, where the players are coming from, because if there's one area that I think Cosmos have struggled, it has been on this right-hand side. So I just wonder if Vider's got to think defending first, and then maybe I can get forward. This has been a spot where I can see Fort Lauderdale Strikers having some success. They've had already.
Guillaume's throw in. The look is for Restrepo. Double teamed on the wing. Senna takes it away. Ayose dropping it back. Nane has it. You could barely hear the whistle, but apparently it was blown by Mark Geiger for that foul. In the 39th minute, scoreless between the Cosmos and the Strikers. Freeman to the middle for Senna. Hunter Gorski over the top, played in. A little bit of a nudge there, and down went Mirosevic. First time we've seen Perry pop up on this near sideline as we're playing the opposite side.
This game really screaming for movement without the ball. That's if you look at the chances created, I can't think of any really, other than the ones on set pieces. And Senna, of course, a great strike. But really, in terms of combining, in terms of building the attack, that hasn't been there for both teams. To be fair, right now. So, I guess the teams haven't had all that much time to really to work with each other. But hardly an excuse, really. You still want to find something positive. You want to get that goal. You want to play from strength to strength.
Center was held back from making that run. Strikers getting to it again in their half for Pekka. Pushed all the way back. We remind you to stick with us at halftime. Our special guest, legendary Cosmos goalkeeper and broadcaster Shep Messing will be with us. We'll have halftime highlights and stats as well, so keep it here at halftime. Still several minutes away from that. 40th minute now. On the right side, Guillaume. King and Guillaume almost ran into each other. Salazar pushing it back. Alves for Scott Gordon. Foot of Salazar, then Stahl trying to keep it going. Nane, he's going to get called, maybe booked as well. Mark Geiger called him over. But Nane may escape a yellow. He does.
He's reaching there. And you see these two holding midfielders. We've talked before the game about the presence that Marco Senna give you and Nane as well. And, sometimes you have to pay the price. I don't think there was anything cynical, in that play. I think he reaches there. I think he might get the ball as well. But It gives an opportunity for managers to talk to the players a little bit. You can see the players are struggling a little bit. Fitness-wise, I see that they're struggling. Both sets of players, I think, to some degree. You can understand that, but again, difficult to look at it as an excuse, isn't it?
Yeah, players are coming over right now to hydrate. Normally you see that more, Janos, when temperatures are like maybe in the 90s, not in the 70s. So you wonder if it's just opening night. They're taking advantage of this and also getting a chance to talk with their head coach, Gio Savarese. He's explaining something down on the sideline. Pretty animated dialogue.
Well, I think he's got to be talking about that movement, because I know he gives the free. He often tells me, you got to attack with, we attack with 6 players. It doesn't matter where they are. The problem I see is that, when you interchange, JP, I mean, that takes a lot of work. I mean, that takes communication. You've got to have time on the training pitch to do that. I don't think they've had it. And I think players from time to time get confused, I think, really, because when you have movement where you interchange and you allow the players to roam a little bit, somebody's got to know that. Somebody's got to stay. And the reason I think that they're tentative, and you see Marco Senna and Nana staying, because they're not seeing what they're supposed to see. Still something to address, because in this game right now, I see absolutely no reason whatsoever why New York Cosmos need to play with 2 holding midfielders. I mean, there's really nobody to deal with. I mean, they're dominating New York Cosmos. Not a lot of numbers going forward for Fort Lauderdale Strikers. I give freedom to Senna especially, to go forward.
Stahl is apparently okay. We'll be back to action momentarily. He's off the field right now, waiting for the referee's permission to come back on. Strikers with 10 men at the moment. Restrepo to the right corner for Guillaume. Vider, and he bump as that ball goes out for a goal kick, and now Stahl will be allowed to come back on the field in the 43rd minute. Cosmos play it up to Marco Senna. Play for a throw-in. Reminder about Shep Messing coming up, joining us. I've worked so many games with Shep, probably a couple hundred games. I don't remember the last time I actually interviewed him. Probably years and years.
Yeah, I'm going to listen to that. I want to see. I want to see that. It's always always fun to have him here. His take on game is unique, of course, and he's got so many stories. And again,
we don't have time for all of them. I don't think. Off the throw-in for the Cosmos, trying to get on the board before the first half comes to a close. Nane pushing it. Senna, that was a quick ball, and running onto it. Diaz slipped behind the Strikers' defense. Good idea in the cross. It was denied, but it's a corner kick.
That's the sort of run that we haven't seen, that little diagonal run from the opposite side, of course, because he's demanding the ball. When you see that run, it's a signal, of course, to play it. It was a little bit wide. It was always going to be difficult. But again, that movement, especially forward, from the forward players, needs to improve in the second half for sure.
Off the Ayoze corner towards Nane. Couldn't get it. That was up for grabs. Sanchez couldn't get it. A goal there for the Cosmos. Their first one in the reboot era. I believe it was Mirosevic who flashed through. Well, trivia fans take note.
Yeah, I mean, set pieces, we've talked about it. Who wants it more? Loose balls right there. Look at coming over the top. I think this is just a wonderful job right there for Hunter Gursky to keep this alive. You see it here. Delivery always good from Ayoze. You see it here. You've got to attack. Who wants it more? Good save to be sure. Mirosevic just sniffing this out right now. It's easy to ball watch. It's easy to think what the player's done. The play is dead. Of course, Mirosevic goes after it, and look at the timing. I think we all know what that means, of course, in terms of Cosmos. But for Fort Lauderdale Strikers, really going into halftime right now, thinking that it was 0-0. They've had the upper hand psychologically, if you will. They've just lost it. Now, this is going to be interesting to see how Strikers approach this, because they've got to open up a little bit. You'd like to think that they're going to go after the Cosmos a little bit and open up.
1 minute added on here. While you were watching that replay, I looked at the field and caught Mark Geiger giving a yellow card to someone on the Strikers. I believe it was Salazar. We'll double check that at halftime, but a card was given before that ball was kicked off. Vider. Mirosevic goes in the books, though. scoring the, did you say the first goal in 30 years, Janusz? It's a long scoring drought. Here is New York again looking for something, but it goes right to Sanchez. Strikers will play it right to Stahl. Darnell King slowed down on the flank. The game needed a goal, open things up.
Yeah, no, absolutely, because I think, you know, if it stays 0-0 right now, going into halftime, I think you look at Cosmos players, they'd be very, very disappointed with themselves. And nothing's changed. I think there's still room to improve.
Brought the crowd back in.
But it gives you confidence, and I think the change is the speed of Gio Savarese at halftime a little bit.
Speaking of halftime, that's where we're at on that final whistle. New York Cosmos with a 1-0 lead on a goal scored late by Perry Morozovic. He earned a spot with his team, doing well on a Cosmos Combine tryout in February. He's a former 5th pick in the 2009 MLS draft from FC Dallas. Didn't get much playing time there. Played last year in Croatia. He gets a very important first goal for the New York Cosmos. So, not an entertaining first half. We thought it might be a little bit choppy. First game for both teams. Neither team played much in the way of a preseason schedule. It took a while for the Cosmos, and they finally get one.
Yeah, I mean, it's a new team. I mean, it's going to take, as we've said, we're not going to judge the New York Cosmos after this game, regardless of the result. And I think you got to give players the benefit of the doubt a little bit. I think this is important to go, gives them the confidence, of course, and maybe they'll loosen up just a little bit. And some key, you know, the speech at halftime is always important. I think Gio Savarese will talk about what went wrong. He'll be happy with the goal, but he needs to make some adjustments.
Let's ask the coach right now. We've got Gio Savarese with us, the head coach of the New York Cosmos. Gio, let's get your thoughts in the first 45 minutes.
I think Fort Lauderdale Strikers made it difficult for us in the middle. We were not finding the gaps to be able to play the ball through. After we needed to get a little more mobility, and as soon as we found a little more mobility, especially on the flanks, we were able to penetrate, and that's what we need to do. We need to try to find the ball behind the defenders, and that's the ball that can hurt them.
Gio, Janusz here, you've mentioned the word mobility. We've talked about Marco Senna, Nane, and Ayoze being able to interchange. Any reason why you're not allowing Senna or Nane to go forward a little bit? Because Ayoze needs to be taken away from pressure, isn't he?
No, definitely. Ayoze needs to be taken away from pressure. He's being caught in every situation, and he's not finding the ball. And Senna is just being cautious because they're doing a good job, the Strikers, in covering the middle. And Senna doesn't want to leave the space open for them to counterattack, so he's trying to keep the balance. So now, as soon as we start having a little more mobility between Perry, Diomar, and Ayoze coming also in the front, Dimitrov, we were starting to find the ball behind.
Gio, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
That's Gio Savarese, head coach of the New York Cosmos. He had to watch a tough first part of this game, but his team got a goal towards the end. Morozovic getting that goal. Special night tonight for the New York Cosmos. Some of the legends are here, like Pele, Carlos Alberto, and Shep Messing. And Shep will be with us in the broadcast booth as well. It's coming up soon. The first half of New York Cosmos soccer is in the books. The reboot is here. Cosmos have a 1-0 lead over Fort Lauderdale. Perry Morozovic gets that historic first goal in the Cosmos return. It came in the 44th minute. We welcome you back to Stewart Stadium here on Long Island. Everybody knows Shep Messing. He joins us here tonight. Shep, what does the reboot mean to you of the Cosmos?
JP, it's unbelievable, and I really speak for Carlos Alberto and Pele, Beckenbauer, all the guys that wore the Cosmo jersey, and it's exciting for us. We want this team, these New York Cosmos, not to be burdened by our history, but to build on the legacy and create their own identity. And I think we saw a little bit of that in the first 45 minutes. We're all rooting for them.
People remember you guys as great players. What they forget about is that you were great friends. You guys have still kept in touch over the years, so you can tell that it's not just a reunion that just, you haven't seen Pele like in 20 years. You've seen him recently.
No, this is real for all of us. Those Cosmo years, and you're talking about legendary players like Franz and Pele and Carlos and Canalha. That was a special time in their life. So over the last 25 years, whenever we get together in Brazil or Europe or New York, mostly in New York, we'd all talk about what's up with the Cosmos. So collectively, we're excited that the team's back. And again, we want them to look at the history with pride, not for it to be a burden, and we're saluting them. Create your own thing. Go do it again.
So let's forget about the past for now. Let's talk about the present and the future. What's next for the New York Cosmos?
Well, I think the first half is reflective of a team that has the glare of publicity on them. They're trying to get the kinks out. It's their first game, and they started to develop a little bit of a rhythm. I think the exciting thing about these New York Cosmos, they don't have unrealistic expectations. You can't catch lightning in a bottle. It's one step at a time. That's what I think they're doing. Just take it one game at a time, one season, and build it. Hopefully, they'll get to the top again.
Thanks for joining us, partner.
My pleasure.
That's Shep Messing, legendary goalkeeper from the New York Cosmos. Cosmos have the lead after 45 minutes of play. A goal scored by Perry Mirosevic. Come back with us. Highlights and stats when we return. This is Cosmos Soccer.
Tickets on sale now. Call 855-71-COSMOS or visit nycosmos.com.
Yellow card. New York Cosmos with a 1-0 lead over the Fort Lauderdale Strikers, and we have confirmed that Carlos Salazar did get a yellow card after that goal was scored by Perry Mirosevic, the only goal scored in this game, and it came in the 44th minute of play to give the Cosmos that lead going into the locker room at halftime. Teams out in the field getting ready to start the second half in just a couple of moments. Right now, let's check out the highlights from the first half of play. Cosmos are in white. It is Reinisch making that play. Somewhat dangerous. Janusz a little bit risky, but he did clear it out to safety. This was the Marcos Senna chance. Best chance of the game.
This is just wonderful. Look at the concentration, the way he looked at that ball, made sure it comes down, and of course a couple of chances. That early ball right there, again, a little bit of ball watching. Darnell King has been dangerous on both of those situations that we've seen.
Fort Lauderdale didn't have too many chances. That's the Senna yellow card for that harsh foul, the tackle on Stahl. This was another opportunity with Restrepo coming in and playing it across, and Reinisch.
Yeah, those early
one-hand save.
Early balls, loose passes, and here's the goal right now, right there. And we've seen how dangerous that was. You look at two players right there. I think for me, Tony Stoll's got to be a little bit stronger on that. But Mirosevic is smart right there. He didn't give up on that play.
There are the numbers for halftime, with the Cosmos having the edge there. We have Günter Kronsteiner, the head coach, with us of the Fort Lauderdale Strikers. We thank you for joining us, Günter. Your thoughts on the way the first 45 minutes played out?
Well, we knew that, that the Cosmos will come on strong to us. We knew about this already before, so we tried really to keep up with them the first 20 minutes, and then we thought that we can really maybe make a little difference already when we were supposed to play on counter-attacks, but Cosmos is strong. The goal was a little lucky, for being honest, because there were two clear fouls before in the box, but okay, the ref didn't give it, so we have to live with this. I hope in the second half it will go a little better for us.
Thank you, Coach. We appreciate your time. That's Günter Kronsteiner, head coach of the Fort Lauderdale Strikers, as we get ready for the second half, looking to see if there are any changes out there before this second half kickoff takes place. A little bit cooler now than the start of the night. Darkness has fallen. Underway, second half. Pekka with that long ball on the right side. See what changes these two teams make tactically, honest, for the second half, if not in terms of substitutions, in terms of how they played on the field.
Yeah, well, you know, I was glad to hear Gio Savarese talking about some of the things that I was seeing in the first half, the mobility, the ability to find players higher. And it was interesting to hear what he said about Senna, that he felt in order to prevent the counter-attacking game a little bit, he was maybe a little bit tentative staying in to fill those holes. I think he's going to get a little bit more freedom going forward in terms of Fort Lauderdale Strikers. I mean, the question is, how do they generate attacking play right now? They have to open up. We've talked about them playing without a striker, really, a true striker.
Guerrero sending it in. There's an opportunity. Now they couldn't clear it out. Second try, the Cosmos are able to clear it out thanks to Diaz. Sanchez will put it back up. Marco Senna had the best scoring chance other than the goal in that first half of play. Strikers didn't have many opportunities. They may get one here. Coming back the other way on Reinisch. That's Mendez clearing it away. Anderson. Mendez, no trouble with that as he lets it go for Reinisch. Cosmos in white. Strikers are in the yellow, red, and black. The color scheme from years ago remains the same. Gorski pushing it to Mendez. Other games tonight: Carolina versus Edmonton, Minnesota United versus Atlanta, San Antonio versus Tampa Bay. Another foul, another free kick.
This is a little bit better from Mayoza, you know, facing the goal, of course, taking players on at pace. He's got that ability, of course, technical. It's difficult to defend. So Darnell King, I think, right there, had to foul. So that's, you know, I always felt that maybe he was playing, Mayoza was playing with back to goal a little bit too much. Facing it with his ability should be beneficial to the Cosmos.
Mayoza's free kick into the box that's denied, cleared out. Up for Salazar. Pekka's on the run. He has Restrepo ahead of him. Angled off by Vieder. Restrepo looked like he was going to cut inside. No foul was called. Pekka was taken down as that ball was knocked out for a corner. Now some of the bigger striker players go forward for the set piece. Salazar will strike it. The in-swinger there was intended for King. Gordon puts it up there. Intended for Alves, who is going to say got away with a push, but now he does not. He gets called. He was one of their newer signings. Alves. Mendez leaves it for Marco Senna. Hunter Freeman down that right flank. Dimitrov was on the chase. He continues to search for the ball. So few touches tonight for Dimitrov.
Yeah, but I like that ball. He's got to do much better right there. I think, you know, he was almost there. He's got to get hold of that ball and hold it and maybe allow others to come from the midfield. I don't think this was a lost ball, and he almost made it that way. So you can't give up on a play like this because it was an early ball. I mean, he made the run for it, and you saw those couple players trying to put pressure on it as well. So again, the one theme that I see is that I felt that the Cosmos will pressure, high press a little bit more because you can turn the ball over in those situations. I think they're allowing for a lot of those strikers to really drop off. You have 10 players that you have to deal with, and you know that's difficult. So JP, what I'm seeing here, I would almost allow for a lot of those strikers to have a little bit of ball. I'll, you know, invite him into my half and see if you can hit him that way.
Cosmos with a 1-goal lead off the Perry Mirosevic tally. Came in the 44th minute. Diaz with the look up. It's Nane pushing it back. Switched across. Mendez for Senna. Deflected out for a throw-in. Freeman. Mirosevic tapped it to the right. Dimitrov And that one goes out of play, wide of Sanchez. "50 minutes gone. Cosmos with a 1-goal lead. Good atmosphere tonight, as we expected, in their return to a stadium they played on in the early 70s. Mirosevic. Vider plays it back to Gorski. Mendes shows to help him out. Gorski will bypass to find Freeman. Knocked away from him. That's Guerrero playing higher up the field. He drew the contact. But not from there. Got to bring it back. Ron Guerrero played in 3 Gold Cups for Honduras. He'll send it back. Scott Gordon drives it long. Anderson at the end of it. And there's Reinisch. But the flag was up anyway.
Not by much, that's for sure. First good run, really, when we see from Mark Anderson, who's really one of the key players for this team. Missed a lot of the spring season, if you will. But, you know, speaking with the coaches, obviously high hopes for this young man. And I just think he hasn't seen the ball. Of course, Fort Lauderdale Strikers wanted to defend a little bit, but their mentality has got to change right now just a little.
Considering all the goals that Fort Lauderdale gave up in the spring season, I would think getting to halftime even just 1 goal down with a new coach, new players, that wasn't bad. They're still in this game, just 1 goal down. Senna looking to change that to Freeman. The cross inside. It's another corner for New York.
It's been all about set pieces, hasn't it, for both sides. That's where the danger comes from. That's why I think, you know, maybe in the second half, you got to take a little bit of risk. If you're Cosmos right now, you can't pass your way through everything. I mean, I'm looking for the likes of Ayoza and Diaz to take players on, to, you know, dribble, penetrate from time to time, because that's how you get out of pressure. As I said, can't always pass, and that's what I'm seeing tonight.
It's an Ayoza corner. Drives it across, and it's cleared out by Sanchez. Senna left foots it. That's blocked. Another corner for the Cosmos.
Well, he's got the confidence. We've seen it in the first half. This is on the left foot. It's a little bit more difficult for him. Not as dominant one, but still willing to take that. And you know, you want that confidence to show. I think he's got to get the green line. He's got to run this team, say, this is mine. This is how it's going to go. You make sure that I'm covered in the back, which is the case, because really, the Strikers, I just don't see how they're going to hurt Cosmos unless there's a huge mistake.
7-1, the edge and corners for the Cosmos. Freeman puts it towards the back post. Gorski punched away by Sanchez. It's the 8th corner for the Cosmos. This from the opposite side. From New York City. Went to college on the West Coast at Stanford, but good to see the local kids making it on this Cosmos roster. Some of them, he, Mendes, and others. Here's the corner. Driven by Ayoze. Out of the box. Marco Senna should be the first man on it. Push it back inside the box. It's cleared out. The Strikers look to counter. Oh, Anderson makes a great run, but that ball's going to get past him. Good angle coming back to defend as it was cleared. Kept alive. It was Anderson making the play. Pekka, Restrepo, lost it. Guerrero, high upfield with this cross. And that's blocked right to Reinisch, who gets taken out. Strikers appealing for that contact in the box.
Yeah, absolutely. Carlos Mendes is a lucky boy, I tell you, and so are the Cosmos. No questions about that. There's a push when the ball comes in. You know, by the looks of it, my gut instinct is this is a clear penalty, really. Haven't seen it again, but very, very lucky. Again, you saw Restrepo, his mobility just on that one play, which we haven't seen really. A little give and go. There's a partnership. There's a proper build-up for the first time, and you could see how easy that cross came about, really. There was no pressure on the ball, but that to me looked like a penalty.
For a throw-in. It's Fort Lauderdale's ball. They're picking it up with the speed of play. Intended for Restrepo. Gorski feeling like maybe they caught the Cosmos in a weak moment there, and they were trying to push the play. Cosmos on the attack. Mirosevic to Dimitrov. Up for a New York throw-in. Far side of the field, 56th minute. The Mirosevic goal is the only one thus far. Came in the 44th minute. Marcos Senna. Look at this ball. Freeman hit it on the volley. Ball bounces off the hard turf and stayed in play. Now finally goes out for a corner.
See the quality, the distribution from Marcos Senna. It's unbelievable the way he's spraying these balls, and we've seen it from time to time. And that's quick, that's well done. And as you said, Freeman wide open. That ball, I tell you what, first touch, it was the penalty, or it didn't get there, but I like the idea. We've seen that from Freeman on a couple occasions. So, you know, a little bit better early ball. That's what makes it happen.
Ayoze will take this corner. Drive it in. Sanchez powers it away. Gathering it in on this near sideline. Ayoze all the way across. It was there. Cleared out for a goal kick. Strikers had a great opportunity. Thought they had a call for a penalty at the other end. We'll see it again.
Yeah, you look at that delivery right there, and as that ball comes in, there's definitely pushing it back. I mean, it's a clear penalty. I can understand why. You know, I watched the bench of the Strikers, and of course they couldn't believe that there was no decision. A huge mistake from the referee, because I'll tell you what, this was pretty easy to see. You know, very often you and I sometimes hold up a little bit. We'd like to see the replay. Of course, the referee doesn't have the ability to do that. But on this one, you know, I saw it initially. So a huge mistake, a big break for the Cosmos.
Ayoze goes down again. Continues to draw the fouls and the free kicks. Do you like his new position? You said you've seen him a lot in Spain, left back, left midfield. Do you like him as more of an attacking mid?
I like the idea. I think he's been on the ground a lot. He's got to show physicality, because he's got to understand that he's going to have to show for the ball and play with the back to the goal. I don't like the fact that he's not showing me the strength. So now either he gets better, he anticipates that, or they find him early. Although it has to be said that I've seen Diomar Diaz coming in a little bit, and again, Ayoze playing out left. So I think I would give them that look to fade away a little bit, to drift out wide from time to time.
This could be trouble. 5 on the attack for the Strikers. Restrepo against Vider. Couple of nice step overs, couple more. Vider didn't bite on that last one. Now the Cosmos double them up on the sideline, but the Strikers still keep it. Another throw in deep. Box area. There's a bump there, deflected over the bar. Only the second corner kick coming up for the Strikers. Enthusiasm is great in the stands. We expected that.
Yeah, that goal did wonders, but again, I think both sets of players are a little bit worried about these set pieces, because they haven't been dealt perfectly by both sides, really. We've seen the goal, of course, from Cosmos, but this is an opportunity, because, as I said, otherwise I'm not sure how Strikers are scoring here, although I like what Restrepo has done in the last 10 minutes.
Off that corner, it's going to come back out. Salazar, first man on it. He took that corner, and then he gave the ball away. He's already playing with that yellow card that he picked up at the end of the first half, so he's got to be a little bit more cautious. Mark Irish going to the pocket again. He's running a long way to make this presentation. Pekka will complain about it, the team captain. It's a long way to present the card.
Didn't absolutely have to, I think, in this situation. Again, just makes you wonder here a little bit. If you're the Strikers right now, I think they may be looking at this as maybe the Cosmos aren't that bad just yet, at least in this game, because they haven't seen much. I think they've dealt with most of what New York Cosmos bring to them. So I think there's a difference in talent, but it's not a huge one. So I just think that
maybe a chance for Dimitrov wide. Ayoze was free in the box, but only for a second. Another throw in. From the far side of the field, it's into Marco Senna. That one's blocked. Hecka. Strikers take off again. Push forward, off for Restrepo. Nane. That's a bad jersey tug from a guy playing with a yellow card. And now Salazar gets almost in the face of Nani. He's not thinking well there.
Yeah, I mean,
you already got a yellow card.
It's a little bit of frustration from Salazar. I think he still feels the fact that they should have gotten a penalty right there. And yeah, you can't be silly here because these yellow cards add up. Even not in this game, but if you look down the season, I mean, if you're going to get booked, make sure you do something here. I don't think the transition would have been quick. Nana, of course, a lot more physical than Salazar in this situation. So real frustration there shown by Salazar.
And Alessandro Nasl is up by the fourth official, so the Cosmos are going to make their first substitution. And that's going to be an offensive-minded move, regardless of who comes out. It's going to be Dimitrov, so they're just going to switch probably strikers and roles in this game, probably not formation.
Yeah, if you look at Nasl, we felt or we thought that when we were trying to guess that he may be playing either on the left-hand side or forward. Obviously a player that's capable, scored some goal for Sassuolo. And the newcomers to Serie A, of course, a provincial club, a very, very small one, so incredible. And he's played an important part in Sassuolo's going up the divisions because they were in Serie C when he started. Capable of scoring goals, had some injuries problems, so we'll see if we can deal with that, but certainly plenty of experience on his part.
It was a late signing. This is Sanchez coming off the line. Bobbled for a second, but hung on to it. 63rd minute. So Alessandro Nasl makes his Cosmos debut. Far side of the field for Restrepo. More active here in the second half for him. And for Fort Lauderdale, really, as well as a team offensively. Only a goal down. 63rd minute. Rainish will make the easy and safe play. Out of the University of California, Santa Barbara. This team won a title there, NCAA title, some years back. Ivan Guerrero played it back. Hecka. Gordon. Guillaume. Gave the ball right back to the Cosmos. Nane for Diaz. Diomar Diaz leaving it off. Vida. Tap for Nane. Carlos Mendez.
Correction on the Fort Lauderdale yellow card.
Marco Senna.
In the 60th minute, yellow card was assessed to number 15, Scott Gordon.
Just announcing that yellow card on Scott Gordon. Hecka was arguing, but only as a captain. Gordon did get it. So it's the third booking of the night. Senna, Salazar, and Gordon. Over the top, easy play for Sanchez.
Good idea, a little bit too much pace on that one, but that's that early ball. You can see a couple players making that run, and I think Senna again could have taken the ball by himself a little bit to gain a little bit of space. And you know, the problems continues to be the same for both sides. It's the lack of movement without the ball. Really, that's what's happening here. It's always going to be difficult for the Cosmos, even though strikers are down 1-0. You can see that they're still putting 10 players behind the ball. You know, that's sometimes difficult to break. I mean, you and I have watched many Barcelona games where team park the bus, and sometimes even teams like Barcelona can't break, you know, that down. So not easy. Just the first game. They'll be happy with 1-0, but they'd like to have that insurance goal, wouldn't they?
Senna to the outside for Freeman. Nice turn there. Senna, he's in. Saved by Sanchez. Flag stayed down too. Cosmos could have made it 2-0 there and maybe put this one out of reach.
And I'd like to see this again because I tell you, a great turn. But is there a hole by Gordon? Right there, just reaches in the jersey. I thought I saw that. So again, now 1-1, I suppose. Yeah, right? Because I tell you, I mean, that turn is good. The lack of mobility there on Gordon. And of course, he was just getting booked right there. So I suppose maybe the coaching staff at Fort Lauderdale Strikers will feel somewhat better now because we're 1-1, 2 penalties missed.
The background of Nasl, who made his Cosmos debut tonight. Second half sub, only change we've seen for either team at this point. Here in the 66th minute. From distance, it's Alves putting it down. Salazar takes it. The box cleared away. Throw in for Fort Lauderdale. Off a block. It goes out. They'll have another throw in. Cosmos Family Pack gives you and your family access to discounted tickets and merchandise at one low price. Pick up great seats to see any Cosmos home match. Get 2 Cosmos backpacks for the kids. Call 855-71-COSMOS or log on to the website for more details. NewYorkCosmos.com.
Attention Cosmos country. Tonight's attendance, 11,929. That is a sellout of the Cosmos.
They've announced this is a sellout tonight. We'll get an official number for you. '67th minute. Cosmos still holding on to that lead. Looking for 3 points in the standings on opening day of the fall season of the North American Soccer League. They play a split season. 12 games in the first half, 14 in this. Atlanta were the champs in the first half. Ayose for New York, dropping it back. Freeman's ball wide of Sanchez. Cosmos with a 1-0 lead. 68th minute. Cleared by Sanchez. Powerful header back the other way. Nasl. Ball is switched. Ayose. Cutting and then leaving it off. Pushed wide by Mendez, and it's too far away from Hunter Freeman.
One thing we can say for sure, and it always happens in the second half, there's a lot more space. You know, in the first half, you're always disciplined and organized in all formations. In the second half, of course, you know, teams try to figure you out. You lose a little bit of energy as well. So this is interesting because I see that Cosmos are finding some pockets of space right there. They're playing a little bit quicker, a little bit wider, which I'm sure Gio Savaresi has asked his players to do. You can see how they're stretching the Strikers right now.
Over the top. It's coming right back and settled. Lost by Pekka. Nasl. Alves. And then cleared. Given right back to Hunter Freeman. Pushing it outside. The Diaz pass finds Ayose. Strikers getting ready to sub in Nunez. There's Pekka fouling Ayose. He's probably drawn at least a half a dozen fouls tonight, Ayose.
Yes, and I'm not 100% sure that this was a foul. I think he embellished that just a little bit, some contact, but that's something that, you know, in La Liga, that's a foul all the time. I'm not necessarily sure that it should be here. So again, I wanted to see him stand up a little bit, be a bit stronger.
Another name from the past, Ricky Davis scored the last Cosmos goal. That would have been a good trivia question. Ricky Davis scoring it. Last one before Perry Marosevic scored in the 44th minute tonight. Martin Nunez wants to come in, but right now Günther Kronsteiner was over by the fourth official. He's telling him to back off. Ayose sending it in, and the keeper's out. Net was empty for the moment. Ball crossed to Gorski, and Sanchez did well to get back there. And now Nunez is going back towards the bench, so I'm not sure what happened with the fourth official. We're told there was an equipment problem, and maybe that's why the coach was upset. Not many things, Janusz, can go wrong in this sport with equipment problems. It's not like the NFL where you get all the pads and everything. Or NHL. with the jerseys.
Too much white on the socks, I've been told. I don't know if it's tape. Not really picky, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, players at this stage in clubs should know the rules, should know exactly where it is. And the fourth official tells you that something's wrong, you got to fix that. But I can see the frustration, of course, on Günther Kronsteiner's face.
So that substitution will have to wait. 71st minute. Cosmo still up by a goal. Player down on the field. The second one down as well as the ball is cleared back the other way. And now it's finally out of play. We'll have to check back downfield. Play is stopped here in the 72nd minute with Vitor down.
Let's see, he's looking for the ball. There's a bit of a push. I think it's the way he comes down right there on his left foot. You see that ankle giving way just a little bit. Giving the knee as well, so not a lot of contact. But when you come down like this, anything can happen. Not sure if it's turf related here, but it doesn't look to me like much. But then again, you just never know.
Well, this is a team worried about injuries. We already mentioned Jamal Johnson out with an injury. Season ending, it appears. Kashiwashi out with an injury. That's not expected to be serious. Great crowd tonight celebrating. 11,929 is the official number for the sellout at James Stewart Stadium. So all they need now to make the night more complete, Janos, is the win.
Yeah, and I think they'll take that. As I've said, I think they probably expect a little bit more entertainment. You know, sometimes the points are important, but with this franchise being new to some degree right now, I think you want to draw the fans, make sure that they're excited. But yeah, at the end of the day, if the 3 points are gained here, everybody goes home happy. And I think, we'll see what happens the next home game, because I fully expect all these supporters to be back.
Martin Nunez comes in, Carlos Salazar goes out. Probably a good thing to get Salazar out already with that yellow card and not appearing to be bothered by it. Coming back out, Reinisch was coming out, and now it's going to go in and tie it up. Strikers have scored. 1-1 Restrepo. Just like that.
Well, really out of nowhere, as I said, they've had to be a huge mistake, because I didn't see how they're going to score. And again, clearing and attacking the ball, you can see Restrepo comes from behind. You look at Reinisch here, I'm not sure where he's going. He's in no man's land. I'm not saying that the positioning of Carlos Mendes was perfect, but he was under immediate pressure right there. So I think he was actually trying to head that ball back to his goalkeeper. Not really sure that Reinisch saw that ball, misjudged it for sure. And as I've said, go out of nowhere right now, giving Fort Lauderdale Strikers life.
Scored 1 goal in 9 games during the spring season. Last year, 7 goals, 9 assists, 23 games played in all competitions. He's also dealing with an ACL, so he didn't play in as many games as he would have liked. That's a big one, though, for his team. Playing in a more unnatural position, according to his coach tonight. He's walking off the field right now. Walter Restrepo gets a big goal, 73rd minute. Is he bleeding? Is that why he came off?
It has to be.
Yeah, that's it. So, 10 men for the Strikers. This changes the game, obviously. 1-1 now. Cosmos can't sit or invite, as you said. I mean, if they're playing to win this game at home, they're going to have to do something different than what they were doing before.
Yeah, back to status quo, of course. Very much what we saw in the first, 15, 20, 25 minutes. But I think that can change. As I said, there's a lot more space for both sides here. But again, I would almost play this game ugly a little bit. I think that, the Cosmos have played this game safe. And there's nothing wrong with that, especially when you're leading, 1-0. But I think at some stage, these professionals at this level, you've got to be able to find players under extreme pressure. And these players have got to know how to deal with it.
Yellow card was just presented. Looked like to Ayose. Right now, Hunter Freeman is having a conversation with the referee, Mark Geiger. And a lot of people are upset on the sideline. Janusz. Here's the free kick from Senna. Over the bar. Restrepo's getting ready to come back into the game. Apparently the bleeding has been stopped for that cut. So that's 4 yellow cards issued in the game. Restrepo's back out on the field after getting bandaged up. Sanchez clears it. One in the air by Nane. Chip forward on the right. And Mirosevic couldn't get to that one. Mirosevic and Restrepo, the goal scorers tonight. Almost 12,000 people on hand to welcome the Cosmos back. Still plenty of time for a winner in this 77th minute. Anderson, sweeping tackle there by Mendez. And then it's blasted out. And that was an awkward landing as well. Right between the benches. Slowly getting up is Mirosevic. Ivan Guerrero will have a throw in from right about at the halfway line. 2 players down again. Mark Geiger comes over. Conversation. And a card to both, to Freeman and Restrepo.
Just really silly. I mean, we've seen those, you know, you're talking about 4 now. It's the 5th yellow card, really out of nothing, you know, just frustration between the players right now. You know, just really silly. I mean, you just want to make sure right now that you play football, you look at the situation right now, and disappointment, of course, in terms of the result right now for Cosmos, but I just don't know if you want to get involved in these pushing and shoving, especially on the sidelines here.
They're getting the rivalry started up again. Sanchez will look, and he'll clear that out of play. Purchase Cosmos season tickets. Get the same great seats for all home games, plus added benefits like deep merchandise discounts. Call 855-71-COSMOS or log on to NewYorkCosmos.com and get all of the details of becoming a Cosmos season ticket holder.
Freeman of the Cosmos, Restrepo of the Strikers, card 777.
Foul on that far sideline. The Strikers will have a free kick. Guillaume was the player fouled. He was recently brought back to the squad. Played during the spring season, but a late signing as they got ready to start the fall season. Off the deflection, Anderson almost came through it. He kept his balance. Throw it for Fort Lauderdale. They've had more possession, more chances, and an equalizing goal here in the second half.
Yeah, you look at the possession, and especially in the second half, very quiet from Marcus Senna. Very quiet from Maioza. Those are the key players, obviously the leaders on this team that you'd expect them to take responsibility on their shoulders. And now, you know, I just haven't seen it. A little bit disappointing, to be fair.
Restrepo with the bandage, scoring that goal that tied it in the 73rd minute. Nane against Anderson. Senna dropping back deeper. Finds Mendez. Nane. Switch to the right towards Freeman. Good idea. Needed a better ball. Senna. It's deflected to Ivan Guerrero. The 2 most experienced players on the field together there. Got it forward. Flag was up. We're going to see another substitution. Henry Lopez will replace Diomar Diaz, second Cosmos sub. Lopez from Guatemala. He's played at Guatemalan youth level internationally. So some fresh legs, some fresh ideas for the Cosmos.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of that movement that we've been craving and asking for at the moment. You know, these are predictable, over the top, easy to read, easy to attack. Yes, mistakes can be made, but again, I'm extremely surprised that the Cosmos are going long. They have been throughout. I think, you know, I'm trying to give credit to the Strikers, obviously, for playing well defensively, but there are spaces to penetrate, and I'm talking about the 5-10 yard passes in the center of the pitch where you draw someone, and maybe, you know, movement creates space. We all know that, especially movement without the ball, and I just think that the Cosmos right now are more interested about playing sideways and backwards, and I just think that that's a little bit of lack of confidence right now to perhaps play that through ball, even if you were to make a mistake.
I mentioned before, only 2 meaningful preseason games. It's not, obviously it's not a lot. They played some other games, but not against opponents where you would say you were given a real test.
Absolutely, and that's why it's hard to judge. Of course, this is our job to say what we see right now, but play this game long, long enough to know that it takes a little bit of time. Humble beginnings.
It's game one.
Full circle.
Yeah,
I think
one.
If you look at the old Cosmos, they were here as well.
Yeah.
And it took a little, it took a while for them to have 77,000 people watching them, for Pelle's Beckenbauers to play the way they played back then. So let's not be harsh. It is 1-1. If it ends that way, not the end of the world, that's for sure.
Off Lopez, gathered back by Nane. Senna, quick ball to Freeman, 82nd minute. Cosmos and Strikers 1-1. That one went out of play. It was intended for Nasl. Well, if you're Fort Lauderdale, you've got to be pleased right now. You've got a shot to get a point out of this. 82nd minute, new coach. He's had 2 weeks with the team. These are not his players. He worried about a lack of discipline and structure on this team, so it can only get better for him if he can come away with points or a point here.
I tell you what, he gained my respect within 30 seconds of him speaking. I mean, you just saw it calm and collected, and I think he understood that it's very, very unusual for a team not only not to be able to score goals in the spring season, but concede so many. I mean, obviously, if you have difficulties going forward, at the very least, you're going to sit back and be organized. And I think it's lack of fitness. That's at least what he told us before. And, of course, the mentality, the culture of defending, because, culture of defending is difficult to create, I'll tell you. I mean, so I think
overnight.
It doesn't happen overnight, but I think if there's a clear message, if you don't do it as a team in all formations, there will be no place for you on my team. And I think that's exactly what he said to his players.
Sanchez will clear this towards King. Nane comes in after it. Strikers will keep it here in the 83rd minute, a 1-1 game. They've come back to tie it here in the second half. Restrepo, nice move there, then a nice run. Reynish off his line. He had to come up with that ball, and he did. Reynish will roll it to the right. Freeman. Ayoze. Was hard after that ball, knocked it out for a Lauderdale throw in.
Restrepo is the difference in the second half, isn't he? I mean, if you look at Restrepo and you look at Ayoze, similar players in what they're supposed to do on the pitch, that's the difference. You see that ball, great look, and Mel King once again showing a little bit of pace, and I just thought that he's confident. I think, the goal has helped. He's been in and around the ball all the time. He's asking for it. He wants that responsibility, because, when you're not playing well, sometimes you have a tendency to hide on purpose. You kind of say, no, I don't want that one. And, believe me, I've been in those games when things are not going your way, just saying, all right, let others do it, and I'll just defend here or do whatever I have to do. And as we've said, I think he's embracing this position right now, because he perhaps doesn't like defending all that much. He wants to go forward, wants the ball at his feet, and that's exactly what's happening with Restrepo. He's the difference right now for the Strikers.
Senna kept it alive, trying to make that big pass. Instead, it's coming back towards Restrepo. Mendes has to beat him for it, and does. Knocks it out for a throw-in for Fort Lauderdale. Fort Lauderdale has really pushed the game in the second half, not just because of the goal. They've had more chances, more possession, more of everything in the second half of play.
I think they're starting to believe, a bit of a gift on the tying goal, no questions about that. But I think you're watching this. I mean, these players feel it. We see it here from above. It's a lot easier. But, on the field, players sense it. This is New York Cosmos. On paper, they have some great players. But we're playing here, and there's nothing special coming at us. And I think, there may be a message from the sideline saying, be safe. 1 point is good. But I'll tell you, we can come out of here with a huge upset in all 3 points.
Joseph Nane walking it up for Marcos Senna. Keep it on the ground for Freeman. Blasted away by Fort Lauderdale. Stays in play. Mendez with the head on a swivel will knock it right back into the middle. Dvorsky. Down the far flank. One in the air by Fort Lauderdale up for King.
The game's got to be shorter. Again, another example of that long ball. Very predictable. And let's assume that that ball even gets there. It's still plenty to do. You have to bring it down under extreme pressure. And yes, you've gained space, but really, do you have an opportunity to look at the at the game, looking forward, and you see Mendez crimping up a little bit?
There's a shot you don't see often. Restrepo is helping Mendez stretch. Gio Savarese chatting with the fourth official. Now we're going to see another substitution. Chris Rod is going to be coming into the game. Going to be the third and final sub for the Cosmos. And this is unfortunate because it's not a tactical change. Mendez is hurt.
I'm not sure if he's hurt. I think it's a little bit of cramping up, I think, which is unusual.
That's hurt
because
to me. Yeah,
and
I mean, that's why he's coming out. Yeah.
An important player. You're taking a player, so again, maybe not fit just yet. You look at the conditions in the game. I'm wondering a little bit, but you got to give him benefit of the doubt. You look at Rod; he can play just about anywhere in the back, and when I hear that, I often wonder about that. For position, it's difficult. But when I spoke with Gio, he says he has the confidence to put him just about anywhere. So credit to him for that.
Ball will be played back to Reinisch, and the Cosmos are done with their subs.
And this is interesting because by the looks of it, the Cosmos went to 3 in the back, perhaps, or just pushing the fullbacks very, very higher.
Yeah, Freeman's up higher. Vito on the left as well.
I suppose they just pushed him up. Yeah, it's still Dot in the center, alongside Hunter Gorski, who for me had a very, very good game so far.
Strikers back in the ball. They only made the one change in the second half. Fouls on Nane in the 88th minute. Free kick here for Fort Lauderdale. Trying to see this one out, get at least a point on the road. Set long. There's one in the air. It's Chris Rod, all 6'3" of them. But the Strikers are able to keep it. Restrepo kept it on the ground, gave it away to Nane. The look up, doesn't see anyone open. High pressure from the Strikers, almost gets them the ball back, but they foul in trying to regain possession.
Starting to believe. You can sense it here. A totally different team. Still really, I mean, you look at Nunez, and obviously he is a forward and successful that last season for Minnesota. It's got a number of goals. But it's Restrepo who's gaining confidence. I think they're pushing players quickly. The counterattack is with intent, something that we didn't see. The difference was, you and I have talked, is that there was no intent to attack. There was just intent to defend, see the game, maybe see, get a point through a draw. But they've changed. Maybe that goal helped them. It was against them, but obviously woke them up a little bit and made them realize that they're capable of playing against this Cosmos team.
Nani was fouled as well. Cosmos have to hope that he can get right back up because they made their 3 subs. Savarese wants to talk to Chris Rod, who's coming over toward the bench. Injuries turn out to be a pretty good time for coaches to get their message across.
I just think he's telling him to make sure that the line is not too high. I think he recognizes, if you look at the Strikers, they're leaving 2, sometimes even 3 players forward. We've seen a little bit of high pressure, but even even in transition, they're not leaving players behind. They're pushing them forward. So you look at this. This is a very high line from the Cosmos, and I think Gio probably is not comfortable with that.
A straight arm to Senna, who draws a free kick in the 90th minute.
Crimping up as well. That's a little bit Senna.
Be a throw-in coming up here for the Cosmos. Justin Chavez is up by the 4th official, so the Strikers do want to make a substitution when they can. This will be about 30 yards plus away from goal. Within range, certainly, of Ayoze's left foot or Senna's right. Closest to the ball is Ayoze. Senna coming in from an angle. Tap back. Ayoze chipped in. And it's an easy play for Sanchez. The target was Rod at the post. So deceptive, but not effective.
No, it's not the way it was designed, I think. The ball back had a little bit too much pace to react. I think you just want to get a touch on it. Change the angle of delivery, if you will. And that's what Ayoze was hoping for, I think.
3 minutes posted on the board in terms of stoppage time as the clock has struck 90. Chavez is still by that fourth official. And Mark Geiger will allow the substitution now. Darnell King will come out.
He's worked hard. I think, obviously in the thick of things, a couple opportunities. You see the pace. I'm not sure how comfortable he is on the ball. Obviously, he wants to be played on to, be behind the back four so he can run onto it. And but I'd like to see maybe him carry the ball a little bit more. But I think his coach is going to be happy with him.
Hunter Freeman wearing the captain's armband since Mendez went off. Senna is being held there on the side by Anderson. Nane. Faith going back toward goal. Now left foots it long. Some serious holding going on there. Mirosevic again. That's blocked. Stahl heads it back dangerously off the center and in. The Cosmos have the lead again. Nasl in stoppage time.
A little bit of drama. I was just going to talk about strikes from distance. Even though this doesn't get there, I can remember too many. And I am not sure why that ball is being held back. I mean, at this stage, look, I mean, the Strikers conceded the goal, in 44th minute. Now you're talking about 90th. And a huge, huge mistake right there. I think it was Tony Stoll right there. Had the opportunity to hit that ball just about anywhere. Left, right, or forward. Really put his team and his goalkeeper in a difficult situation. And for Nasl, again, smelt it. Really didn't take it for granted. And sometimes you get rewarded. So a huge break. Once again, this is a big break for Cosmos.
A 2-1 lead now in the dying seconds of the game. New York just has to see it out for about another half minute or so, depending on more time being added after the goal celebration. 3 minutes put on is a minimum amount of time added. Referee's discretion. Gorski swings it wide. Gathered in, played long and wide. Lopez was chasing it. Looked like he pulled up short. Nasl was working hard to get that ball back. Nothing like a goal to get you going. Here's the long ball from the Strikers. Laid off. Restrepo still dangerous in the dying moments. Played it wide. Into the box. Senna has to and does clear. That's it. Cosmos get a victory at home. 2-1 is the final score. And as a sub, Nasl gets credit for the game-winning goal.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty, JP, but I suppose you take that. You can always polish, the identity or the way you play a little bit later on. As we've said, they've had very little time to prepare to a certain degree. I think you understand now, under pressure in these sort of situations, I think Gio Savarese will address that, of course, but it could have been worse because at 1-1, I think Cosmos would have been disappointed. They carry the play, they carry the game, they have better possession, but the disappointment has to go at this stage to the Strikers because I think they approached this well. Went behind in the first half late, found a way to come back, looked like they were becoming a better team, and of course that is a huge, huge mistake. And again, these happen, but this late, a player like Stoll, who for me was pretty good throughout the game, has got to do much, much better.
Well, they left it late. The Cosmos had the lead. They let Fort Lauderdale come back and get the tie, and then Nasl in stoppage time gets credit for the game-winning goal. Cosmos win. We're coming back with more.
some of the most memorable moments on Earth aren't even happening on Earth. The Emirates A380. Hello, tomorrow.
Well, now the party can officially start, Janusz. The Cosmos get 3 points, a win, 2-1 over the Fort Lauderdale Strikers. I think these fans came to have a party tonight, and the party was clinched with that game-winning goal. A draw, like you said, would have been fine, you would think, but everybody wants to see the home team win on opening night.
Yeah, first game you want to start, winning tradition, of course, and you take it any way it comes. As I've said, many kinks to work on. There's no questions about that. But the way they've scored, the resilience to some degree. I mean, late in the first half, late in the second half, the game looked drawn for me, and they would have been happy with it. But you can't be happy with it. You go after it, mistakes are going to be made, and at 2-1, there'll be no complaints from the Cosmos.
Well, the man who scored the first goal in the Cosmos reboot era is Perry Mirosevic. He's downstairs with us. Perry, let's get your thoughts on the first game played tonight by the New York Cosmos.
I mean, this is it's incredible. I mean, the atmosphere that was here tonight with all the fans coming in, supporting us, on this day, it's a very special day for all of us. I mean, for the ownership, for the coaching staff, for the players, and our fans. You saw the passion that the fans were giving us, and they were giving us that support, and that helped us through the entire 90 minutes, and to be able to get to come back and get the victory.
We mentioned that you had joined the team making it in the combine. How did you succeed in making the roster? You're up against a lot of quality players.
It's just, I commit myself to working hard every single day, to give myself 100%, 110% in every training session, to do everything the best I can for the team. And, that hard work paid off. Gio saw it, putting me in the starting 11, having the trust in me to be out there and to be part of that team. And, I mean, to get this victory against a great rival like the Fort Lauderdale Strikers, it's incredible.
All right, you've got one home win in the books. Next 2 games on the road. What do you take out of this game? There was obviously some good and some bad in this game. What good do you take out of it?
I think, we came together as a family out there. That's one thing that our team is, strengthened by, is our commitment to one another and never giving up, playing all the way to the 90th minute, and everybody saw that tonight. Obviously, in the game there was some mistakes, there was some good things. We'll learn from our mistakes, definitely take the good things out, but definitely have to look back at the mistakes we made to make sure we improve in the next game away.
Congratulations on the goal and the win. Thanks, Perry.
Thank you so much, guys.
Mirosevic, we'll see his work tonight, Janusz, and the work of others. Here are the goals.
Yeah, and Perry Mirosevic